tomorrow I'll be going to Ibadan in Oyo State. We'll be spending 2 nights there, a night in Ibadan and a night in Oyo State, to explore the culture, history and tradition of Ibadan. So join me on my journey tomorrow, and don't forget to like, follow, share and subscribe so I can keep on making beautiful content like this. Click on the subscribe button, click on the like button, click on the share button and share to people that might be interested in this kind of content. Thank you.
Entrance dákun kó gilé lò fún mi jàre. Ìbàdàn ni mo wà o, Ìbàdàn ni mo dé o. Ìbàdàn ni mo wà o, Ìbàdàn ni mo dé o. Mẹ́wàá ń dé kò bẹ́ẹ̀ bá nílé o. Ìbàdàn ni mo wà o, Ìbàdàn ni mo wà o, Ìbàdàn ni mo dé o.
This weekend we'll be touring Ibadan with $100 budget. This includes transportation, feeding, lodging, and for payments for anywhere we plan on going concerning Ibadan heritage, culture, and tradition. So join me while we go to Ibadan. So first we took a bus from the park at Yanopaja going to Ibadan, which cost just 2,000 naira. Here you can see my friend. He's already checking one game inside the bus. Mr. Focus. Yeah, as we were going, rain started falling. A lot of rain. I was scared. I hope I'm not going to get wet by the time I get to Ibadan. And so we just kept going. But after a while, the rain stopped. And here we are at Ibadan. This challenge. So it was bus stop in Ibadan. Remember the wise saying that don't be scared when you face a challenge. It's just a bus stop in Ibadan.
Let's give a brief history of Ibadan. Ibadan is the capital and most populous city of Oyo State in Nigeria. It is the third largest city by population in Nigeria after Lagos and Kano. The principal inhabitants of the city are the Yoruba people. Ibadan, coined from the phrase Eba or Don, which literally means by the edge of the middle, came into existence in 1829 during a period of turmoil that characterized Yoruba land at the time. Lagelu founded the city and was initially intended to be a war camp for warriors coming from Oyo, Ife, and Ijebu. As a forest site containing several ranges of hills varying in elevation from 160 to 275 meters, the location of the camp offered strategic defense opportunities for warriors. It is the home to the first university in Nigeria, which is the University of Ibadan. Welcome to Ibadan.
After we dropped at the last bus stop, we took a bike going to AMALA SKY because we were starving. They said AMALA SKY is the best AMALA in Ibadan. If you want to eat AMALA, go to AMALA SKY. So we took a bike to AMALA SKY, which cost just 200 naira to AMALA SKY to taste the best AMALA. So here we are at AMALA SKY. The name of the restaurant surprisingly wasn't AMALA SKY, it was olorun. So they call it AMALA SKY because it is beside a Sky Bank, which is now known as Polaris Bank. That's why they call it AMALA SKY. We got our AMALA and went to sit. But before me, I ate my own AMALA. I first went to locate the toilet. Went to the toilet to ease myself because I've been holding myself since. My AMALA cost 2,700. Ugufe 15, AMALA 500, and Tupomo, which is about 200 naira. And a bottle of water is about 200 naira as well. So that's 2,900 naira. See, the AMALA SKY is buzzing a lot of people. Sometimes you even have to wait. If there are a lot of people sitting down, you have to wait for you to get a seat. So here I am eating the AMALA. It is not what I expected actually. They overhyped this AMALA. It is not as sweet as everyone was saying. And they said when I was eating, I heard that our bill is 6,500. I was like, ow. See this small buffet that they are selling for 1,500. This small thing 1,500. I make sure I eat the whole of my 1,500 finish. Eat the AMALA, leave the plate. Even if it's not sweet though. So after eating, we left the place and we heading to the hotel which we searched for. And the hotel is in an estate, so we had to walk in.
I'm about to rant because how do you say Ibadan is like AMALA Central, that AMALA equals to Ibadan? That like AMALA is the best food they eat in Ibadan. It's the best thing they can make in Ibadan. So now we went to the best restaurant that sells AMALA in Ibadan. Proclaimed best restaurants. That's what people say, that's the best restaurant. Okay? So we got there, bought AMALA, and they gave me that small ogufe. I was still complaining that ogufe is too small. So yeah, waiting happen. They now come and debit us, collect card from us when we were eating, collect money. And they were telling us, as I was eating my amala, the amala that is not even sweeting me like that. After all the bragado, after all the gra, I was still managing to be managing the amala. They now come and I was not eating the amala. Someone now say amala is our bill is 6,500. How we go pay 6,500 for Ibadan? This guy that is here said, if you come and stay in Ibadan, you can spend use 10,000 to eat for 2,000, 5,000 to eat for a whole week, and you're going to eat good food and you'll be satisfied. That's what he said. But now I can't imagine now paying 6,500 for eating amala. For why? The people that are saying amala is they are saying Ibadan is cheap and things are not expensive yet. Things are fucking expensive. But this amala has already even, oh my god, I can't really express myself right now. But I think I've expressed myself enough for now. But he said AMALA SKY is expensive because they are popular. That's why it's expensive. So let's just assume it's expensive, and let's see, maybe when we get to eat something else, it's going to be cheaper. Alright?
We took a bike of 200 to the hotel, and the hotel has rooms ranging from 4,000, 6,000 and 8,000. If I were alone, I would have gotten the room of 4,000 naira. So we were waiting for them to take us to the room. Yeah, they were taking us to the room. But my friend eventually decided that he can't stay in the rooms. Well, he's not working with the budget and I'm working with the budget. So let's just assume I spent 4,000 naira on rooms because the next hotel we went to, he was one that paid for it. I don't know why he refused to stay in this hotel. The hotel's rooms are actually really nice. And they even on from 7 in the evening to 7 the next morning. Then what else do you need? Since you won't be sleeping in the hotel the whole day, while he was looking for a new hotel, we left the hotel we were supposed to stay and enter the Mikra going to OJ Market. The Mikra is not as rough as people actually say it is. They usually say the drivers are usually really rough, but this one wasn't rough.
OJ Market has been there since 1884 during the reign of Oyeyele. The name OJ is derived from a town not far from IDERE near Ilorin, where many people were living in the 1800s. But when war broke out, the inhabitants migrated to Ibadan. In order to know where these people should stay, they consulted an oracle which instructed their leader to put all their sacrificial materials in a mortar and continue going around the Ibadan town until he is tired. The leader obeyed the instruction, and when he could no longer carry the heavy load of the mortar and its contents, he stopped at IDERE. Later, they continued and got to a place where they cleared the bush and saw cowrie shells, lead, and tubers of yam, among other things. Shocked to have discovered OJ, which is lead, it reminded them of their roots where they came from, which is OJ in IDERE near Ilorin. They named the place after their former place and called it OJ Market. Historically, the villages and towns around Ilorin would produce almost all of the ashoke. OJ was the central market for these clothes, and traders would travel many kilometers to purchase yards of clothes for sale in their own villages. OJ remains the central market for the best ashoke clothes in Nigeria. OJ Market is also known for the sale of ornamental beads for royalties and those that are not royalties.
My guy is trying to buy a cap and yachts here. So he's trying to choose which one he wants. So we'll still be going further down. I think I'll be buying one of these chains if it's not too expensive and it's within my budget. Popalola ni mi now, normal. Popalola need that's my worry. You can offer me last. See, ba mi for me last. Ojani no mi inu odo iluwa. As Popalola, share mo pe rukere ma dúró dára lórí ọrùn mi. E won run mi now. Ba ni rukere kan sí méjì tó máa dúró sí mi lọ́rùn. Máa gbé mi lárugẹ, máa gbé mi níyì. As Popalola tí mo jẹ́. Àbí kí lẹ feel? So here we are still going through the market. You can see heritage of beads, different beads, original, authentic beads. Not those fake ones people used to wear and do your Igbo traditional dance up and down. We're talking quality, authentic, colored beads, you know? Or you don't know? Get it or you don't get it?
Here you can see the old beads, the very old ones, and the new ones, the more modern ones as well, the industrial ones. There is a category of bead called iyun. Iyun is said to be the most expensive of all types of bead. Digging for iyun is equivalent to the search for gold. That is why iyun is very expensive. You can identify them by the presence of holes in the body of the beads used.
So of course, Pastor Kuban, nobody check out. So nobody, say fake, say fake, so anyway, so they are right. I like to need that phone.
At OJ Market, I got a bead for 1,005, a neck bead and a hand bead. After getting the bead, I took a bike going to IREFIN's palace so we can explore the history behind IREFIN's palace and hear things about IREFIN's palace. At IREFIN's palace, there is no standard price list for tour, so you have to bargain with whoever you find there. When we got there, we had to bargain with some Egbon Adubo that we met there, and they charged us 5,000 naira just to see the place, which is quite excessive because it is usually supposed to be about 1,000 naira. Entering the doorway of the palace, the first place you meet is where we call Oba. This is where the king solves problems of people in the community. Whenever there is a problem, if someone does anything in the community, they bring the problem here to be solved. Entering the palace, this place you can see here is what we call Oba. It is where the king sits is placed, and just in front of him, mats are spread all over. This is where the chiefs of the community sit, as you can see in this picture. The Otun, Osi, Iyalode, Balogun sit here. Right here on the left hand side is a room that is meant for the mother of the king, Iyaoba. On the right hand side is where the Ajiroba stays. He is the first person that sees the king anytime he wakes up in the morning, that is the Ajiroba. In the olden days, the Ajirobas are always castrated because they are so close to the king and they don't want them to end up having sexual affairs with the queens of the palace. That is why they are being castrated, so they cannot perform as a man. This place behind the palace is where we call Ka Olori. That is the chambers of the queens. These are where the other queens of the king stays. This is their room. This is where they live. This room here is where we call Yara Ashofin. It is a room for a group of people who are responsible for creating laws that are going to guide the rulings of the community of the kingdom. You can see the room here. After the room, other places in this place are the rooms of the queens of the king.
This place behind the chambers is where the horses of the king are kept. The land occupied by this palace spreads far wider than this because the palace is situated on about 10 acres of land. This room directly opposite me is where we call Ile Ashofin. The previous one is Iyara Ashofin, while this is Ile Ashofin. Don't get them confused with each other. After viewing the downstairs part, then we went upstairs to see more of the palace. Above the first floor, there is still another extra room just above this place we are standing. This room has 4 windows, one facing the east, one facing the north, one facing the west, and one facing the south. Whenever sounds of war is heard, someone goes up to the room and looks for the direction in which the sound is coming from. When he discovers the direction, he then reports back to the warriors of the kingdom to head towards that direction to go and face whatever enemy is coming from anywhere. So they have an advantage of quickly knowing when war is coming and where the war is coming from. Whenever a thief is caught in the past, the thief is beheaded and his head is kept on display at the top of this room so everyone in the kingdom can see. From this room here, the king addresses everyone in the kingdom downstairs. He addresses them during a meeting from this room. This is another exit out of the palace. In the past, IREFIN's palace has been used in movies such as IDERE, Ladepo Omo Adonwo, and so on. Those are the only 2 I can confirm, even if the tour guide mentioned more. This place is called Yara Igbafe. The king stays here to receive fresh air if he's not going down to the palace. And just beside it here is where the king's favorite wife
stays, which is the last wife. This room is the biggest room in the palace. Whenever the king wants to meet with his wife, he comes to this room, but his queen can't come to his own. Just opposite the room is the king's own room, which I forgot to take a video of, or I took a video but the video did not record and I was not aware of that. This room where the king addresses his subjects is also used whenever the king has special visitors. He can invite them upstairs and discuss matters with them. So outside here, we can see the staircase we took that brought us upstairs, and this is the extra staircase that leads to the room with 4 windows, having the north, east, west and south window. Here we can see the ceramic plates that were used for serving food in the past. Food, soaps and whatever is served using these plates. Trust me when I tell you that these plates are so strong, they can fall off your hand and not break. They are that strong. Looking down at the queen's chambers from the top of the building, you can see this place just beside this doorway, which is called Ibenoka. It is where lamps are put in the olden days to light up the area. This is the lamp used in the olden days. And here we are leaving the building, since we have seen everything that is meant to be seen inside the building. Here is what the backyard of the palace looks like. This palace is said to have about 125 rooms in total. Here we can see the compound of the palace, which is said to house members of the king's extended family, the king's slaves and the king's workers. One of the orikis used to praise the king of IREFIN in those days is Abaya gbangba tí ń gbara ìlú kalẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ọlọ́ṣà, baálẹ̀ tí kò bólè ṣe. This means the king who saves the members of his kingdom from thieves, and a king who does not have dealings with thieves. He was called this because of his brutal punishment towards thieves by cutting off their heads or hands. Here is the palace of IREFIN, and here I am taking picture with the palace of IREFIN. Fine boy, see as I fine now. Oh balola, fresh kid. Yeah, duro genge, duro bioba. Here we are leaving the palace, heading back to our hotel because it was already late in the night. We took a bike going to our hotel, which cost us about 1,000 naira. Here we are at the hotel, which will be costing us 4,000 naira, regardless of getting another hotel based on my guide, as that is not like the hotel we selected.
8 hours later.
This morning, I was looking fresh and fly, like a big boy, like a fresh kid, jolly just come, ready to tour Ibadan. We took a bike that took us to BOWER'S for 300 naira. BOWER'S can be seen at the top of IDERE, which is the tallest hill in Ibadan. So we got here, and unluckily for us, BOWER'S is locked. But we're trying to see if we can get someone to open the place, because there's a BOWER'S radio station, BOWER'S House, which is a pensioners FM in Ibadan here, just across the BOWER'S. So I'm trying to knock on the gate and see if someone probably opens the gate for us. When coming to BOWER'S, I would advise you come around 10, 11, so the person in charge will probably be around by then. Here you can see me trying to break open the gate with my super strength and my superpower, since while we were waiting for the person that's going to open the gate and allow us in. But since I couldn't break it open, I decided to take pictures instead. Here I am, fine boy, fresh kid. Oh, see spec now. Open my fine, Admirawo, man. Then I eventually got in. A brief history about BOWER'S. BOWER'S is an historic monument put up to honor Captain Robert Lister Bower in 1936. He was the first British resident in Ibadan and appointed by the British government to administer the ancient city, which he did between 1893 and 1897. The BOWER'S was designed by Taffy Jones, the engineer that designed MAPO. The tower is 60 feet high and 11 feet square, with 2 entrances and a spiral staircase that leads to the top of the tower. From the summit of the tower, you can see Ibadan roundabout sprawling before you and appreciate the prehistoricity of the town.
The BOWER'S is some place to check out if you happen to be in Ibadan. The entry fee for BOWER'S is 400-500 naira.
Yeah, so I'm trying to climb the tower right now. The staircase is very steep, very short, and I'm even scared as fuck because this is not. I'm not supposed to be here. But I want to do this. So this is the top of BOWER'S tower. You can see the stairs how it is. I just slip and hit your head. Wow. People are writing, Yinka was here, Fumi was here, Adiola was here, Ashirat and Civic Lumi. They even put here, say. Wow, interesting. So, this is from the top of BOWER'S tower. I'm giving you a 360 view of Ibadan. Yep, 360 view of Ibadan. So my guy was too scared to come in. I would have told him to take a picture of me, but now that won't be possible. So yeah.
Yeah, I am looking fresh and fly again as usual as a soft boy. Admiring myself, because if I don't admire myself, who will admire me for me? Nobody. So let me just admire myself. This is the north, east, west and south view of Ibadan from the top of the BOWER'S tower. And here I am again, fresh as usual. Yeah, and after enjoying the view of Ibadan from the top of BOWER'S tower, we took a bike to MAPO for 200 naira. Brief history about MAPO Hall. MAPO Hall is one of the oldest buildings in Nigeria. It was commissioned in 1929 and is Ibadan's official town hall, so it's quite a significant landmark. Even though you can see MAPO Hall from many points in the city, you can't grasp the scale until you are standing on the 5,969 acres of land that it's built on. We met a security guard there who granted us access to the building. A little bit of haggling and we paid a fare of 1,000 naira between us both. MAPO derived a name from the Yoruba linguistic description about the building of the pillars Okpo during the colonial era. Over the years, the hall had played host to major political and social events in the city, shaping the socio-political direction of Nigeria in general. The hall has a mini museum where the relics of the chains used to hold tax evaders in the colonial era are hung. There are also pictures of all Olubadan that have reigned in Ibadan in the hall. If you ever go to MAPO Hall, ask for the roof access so you can see a beautiful view of Ibadan and also take nice pictures. And also ask for a tour in the mini museum and to see the pictures of the past Olubadan. Close to MAPO Hall is the Ibadan Local Government Secretariat, and beside it is the Olubadan of Ibadan Palace. Here I am taking nice pictures in MAPO Hall as usual. We left MAPO Hall and
this is the popular yam market in Ibadan. Here you can see different people selling yams everywhere. If you want to get the most affordable, the cheapest yam bulk at sweet rate, just come here to get the yam. It's close to MAPO Hall, so yam everywhere. Yam in bunches of tubers, in tubers of yam seeds, in bunch of yam seeds.
Just in front of MAPO Hall is the statue of Balogun Odenriola. He was one of the greatest warriors that fought to protect Ibadan and Yoruba from external fighters or invaders. Here is the palace of the Olubadan of Ibadan, where we took a keke to BODE market for 100 naira. BODE market is renowned for the sale of herbs, leaves and roots used for medicinal purposes. The BODE market has been in existence for over 100 years. The location of the market used to be a boundary of Ibadan back in the late 1800s, hence the casual name Ibode, which means entrance. The Jebus then began to come to the market to trade in herbs and they will return after 5 days. The area where they traded came to be known as a sure place to get leaves, barks, dried animal skins, roots and medicinal items, and their wares became high in demand.
These traders eventually stayed put and made this market their trading post so that customers didn't have to wait for 5 days before they could access materials they needed for medicine. The area of the market where herbs are sold was called Ibuko Market. Today, BODE market is the largest herbal medicine market across the country, with people coming from as far as Togo, Ghana, Cuba, Brazil for herbs. They sell calabashes, wooden spoons, and clay pots that are used to prepare herbs. We took a tour around the market, and trust me, this herbal market is very big, the largest I've seen
These
ever.
different parts of different animals. I think this is a bat. That's not snake, that's snake head. This is a chameleon. This is a tortoise. That's probably an alligator head. This one, the teeth. Wow, maybe monkey head did that. That's a deer. This is a monkey's head.
The market day for herbs at BODE market is every 9 days, but any day you go to the market, you always find wares pertaining to healing to buy.
Different honey. One is 2,000, one is 3,000. Okay, Juraon love.
We bought help for body cleansing, back pain, and general well-being at BODE market, and this cost about 2,700 naira. After BODE market, we took a bike for 200 naira to Cocoa House. Cocoa House is located in Dugbe, an area in Ibadan. It was built from proceeds of agricultural commodities such as cocoa, rubber, and timber. The initial name of the building was ELEYELE, meaning House of Farmers. The name was later changed to Cocoa House, not only because it was built from the proceeds of cocoa exploitation, but also because it was sited in front of a cocoa tree and opposite a water fountain. Cocoa House was completed in July 1964 and commissioned in July 1965. At a height of 105 meters, it was the first skyscraper in West Africa and was from 1965 to 1979 the tallest building in Nigeria. The building has 26 stories and houses offices of major firms and broadcasting companies. ODU'A Investment Company Limited occupies 3 floors of Cocoa House. The ODU'A Museum and Hall of Fame, which was commissioned by Professor OLAYINKA in 2013, is found at the topmost floor of the building. We were supposed to go to the museum, but unfortunately, the museum doesn't open during the weekends. It only opens during work hours. Based on things I've read online, the museum is a very beautiful place to be as it boasts of beautiful pre-colonial artifacts. It has a war section and a royal section, and it also has a wall of fame of past and present leaders. In the royalty section, you find things that are used by royalty such as beads, ileke, and so on. In the war section, you see weapons which were used to fight war in the olden days. Trust me, ODU'A Museum is a place you need to be, and the entry fee is just 400 naira. After visiting the Cocoa House Museum, you can take a bike of about 500 naira to the KOSOKO Marine and Tourist Center, where you will see the ELEYELE River. Ibadan isn't known for many water bodies. That is why ELEYELE River is one of the must-see destinations in Ibadan. ELEYELE River plays various roles to the people of Ibadan, some of which are as a tourist hotspot, transportation channel for intercity travel, fishing area, water source for Ibadan City Water Project, location for film and videography projects, and the research hub for studying marine plants and animals. When you get to ELEYELE River, through the KOSOKO Marine and Tourist Center, you'll meet a man called Afa who is going to be your tourist guide. Touring the ELEYELE River on boat costs just 1,000 naira, and you are going to be taken to various places on the river such as the dam. After visiting ELEYELE River, you take a bike of about 500 naira to the hotel where you can get your bag and stuff and get ready to leave for IDERE in Oyo State. From the hotel, we took a bike for 500 naira and which took us to the park, the ELEYELE garage, where you board a bus going to Igbora
for 2,000 naira. Here's my friend tired as usual. Here we are on the road going to BOWER'S. It was a long journey which lasted for about 3 hours. My plane had a stopover along the road where some of the passengers bought wara. I did not buy it because I haven't ate it before and I don't know what it tasted like, and I did not even like the presentation of it. Yeah, I forgot to talk about what I ate in the morning. The hotel gave us a complimentary breakfast, so assuming I stayed in my 4,000 naira hotel, I would have spent about 1,000 naira for breakfast. So our journey continued. Then we go to BOWER'S, which is the twin capital of the world. BOWER'S is called the twin capital of the world because they have the highest number of twins beds in the world. Let's put this into perspective. For every 1,000 live beds in the United States, 33 of them are twins. But for every 1,000 live beds in BOWER'S, 158 of them are twins. And BOWER'S is just a small town in Oyo State, while the United States is a country. From BOWER'S, we took a bus to IDERE for 200 naira, and from IDERE we took a bike for 100 naira to the palace where we were to register for the mountain tour. But unfortunately, getting to the palace, it was too late and we had to come back the next day. While we were discussing with the tour guide, we met with the princess who sold IDERE clothes, and we bought a top for 4,500 naira. From the palace, we took a bike for 100 naira to the hotel to come back the next day for the tour. The hotel costs 4,000 naira for a single bedroom per person. After we settled in the hotel, we went out to eat. The hotel has a restaurant and bar where I spent about 2,000 naira to eat AMALA first and Indomie. I regretted buying the Indomie. After eating, we stayed out at the bar and enjoyed the cool music from the DJ playing at the bar. The next day, we went back to the palace with a bike that cost 100 naira. At the palace, we paid 500 naira for registration and 1,000 for the tour guide. And after the tour, we took a bike of 100 naira back to the hotel and spent about 3,500 naira back to Lagos. Subscribe to my channel and turn on your post notification so you can get notified when I post the video about my tour on IDERE. Don't forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe for more beautiful travel content like this. See you on the next one.